So let's just go ahead and move on to the next example. And now we're going to start getting a little bit more complex and setting up cages and rendering out normal maps for characters. So let's move up here. I'm going to open up this demon model. And you can see I've got UV maps on it. I'm just going to come over here and put an unwrap UV modifier. Hit edit. So you can see what our UVs look like. I actually used Max 8's pelting system to unwrap these UVs and get them nice and flat. Now when you're creating normal maps, the most important thing that you need to look at in order to get good results with your normal map is the UV space of your object. So you have to really pay attention and make sure that you don't have any overlapping UVs. There are some game engines that will support mirrored UVs, but you'll have to ask your own individual programmer whether or not they can support mirrored UVs. If they do support mirrored UVs, what you're going to want to do is basically set up your projection with the sub-object selections and only select half of that model so that you don't have that try and render right on top of one another, the two sides of the model with different normals. So you just use that sub-object selection that I showed you with the box, just select one half of the model and render out just that half of the normal map. And because your UVs are mirrored and stacked on top of each other, you'll get one set here, and then your programmers will have to come up with a way to actually flip those across, because what happens with mirrored UVs is basically if I flip these UVs around, if I take these UVs and flip those, they're actually facing in to the object. So what you'll see with mirrored UVs quite often is you put your normal map on there and the normals will be facing outward on one side and inward on the other side. So you'll have to talk to your own programmers to make sure that you guys can support mirrored UVs, and also what the workflow is for your studio. For High Moon Studios, we're just basically using the entire page, and we're not mirroring any of our UVs. The reason that we're doing that is because we can also use this to create a lighting map. If for instance, we want to just take and put a static character in the world, we want a corpse or something, we can just go ahead and put it in there with the standard UVs that we've already got and then generate light maps on top of that using the same UVs. We don't have to go back and redo them. It's also kind of important to look at those UVs and make sure that not only do you not have overlapping faces, but also that you have as few seams as possible. So you can see, for instance, in this demon, if I turn on select element, that I've tried to kind of unwrap this guy in as large a piece as possible. So I've got this one big section right here. I've got the whole leg going down and the seam in the rear. Same with the other leg. I've got this nice midsection. So I'm really paying attention as to how I'm unwrapping those UVs and making sure that they're very, very clean before I start the normal mapping process.